Hey friends, I can't wait to introduce you to yet another one of our fantastic 2021 brand ambassadors. That's right, today we're doing another interview right here at Making It Fun. Let's get started. That is right, everybody. Welcome back to Making It Fun. I am Rob Appell, your host for Michael Miller Fabrics, and I am, like I said, super excited to introduce another fantastic 2021 brand ambassador. This young lady's name is Lindsay Chieco. Take it away, Lindsay. Hello, welcome to Making It Fun.
Hi. Thanks for having me.
You're welcome. And I embarrassed Lindsay as we were getting started, and I told her how nervous I was, hoping that I would make her nervous. And so, are you feeling nervous?
Of course, yeah.
So then let's do this, Lindsay. Let's do a quick lightning round of questions. This will help you get the chills out, get through the ice. So this is a practice lightning round question. What are you nervous about?
Making a fool of myself on, the internet.
No, I'm sorry, you missed it right. It's making it fun, not making a fool. I get to be the fool making it fun. You'll be great. You'll be just great. So, and the nice thing about it is, I think they like it when we kind of make fools out of ourselves, but I don't think you'll make a fool out of yourself.
Oh, yeah. Somebody's got to laugh, so.
I guess I have a second question too before the lightning round starts. Do you often make a fool out of yourself?
Yeah, when I'm nervous, I think I tend to think I'm funnier than I am, so yeah.
I may resemble that remark as well.
Okay.
Lightning round of questions. Are you ready? I don't know how many questions there are going to be because I'm going to make these up as we go. Let's do category favorites. So everything I ask will be in the category of what is Lindsay's favorite. Let's start with food.
Oh, geez. I guess pizza?
Color.
Purple.
Time of day.
I'm an evening person. Nighttime.
Okay. Day of the week.
Saturday.
Board sport that you enjoy.
Boards?
That was for me. Sorry. Pass. Moving on. Favorite. Oh, go ahead. I was skateboarding, snowboarding, surfing. Do you do any of those?
No, not without, killing myself. So no, I tend to stay away from the board sports.
Okay. Favorite needlecraft.
Oh, I like hand embroidery.
Okay. Favorite child in your household.
Don't do that. Don't put me.
See, that's the fun. Oh, yeah. See, that's the fun of the mystery round. You can get him caught up. I was going to throw at her favorite male entertainer on YouTube, but I was afraid she wasn't going to pick me. And
It's Rob. Yeah.
Okay, Lindsay. Hey, you know what? The folks at home are just dying to hear more about you, and I know a little bit, and if those of you who haven't read our fantastic blog on Making It Fun, you can go and read a bunch about Lindsay. I'll give you a couple of the highlights that I want to know a little bit more. So a mom of 3, correct?
Yes.
That's why the favorite child is a hard question to answer, hopefully. Please tell us about your family.
My oldest is 12, and his name is Asher. I have a 10-year-old daughter named Sarai who is going on like 27. So that makes life interesting in this house. And then my baby is Silas, and he's 7. So those are my 3.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Wonderful.
And your husband is in the armed forces?
Yes, he is in the Navy.
Fantastic.
And are you also in the Navy and just currently on baby duty or something like? Nope.
Oh, no. That would, I tell him all the time, I couldn't do what you do. So I'm just along for the ride, be there for support and whatnot. So, yeah.
Well,
I'd like to say thank you for your service to your entire family, because it's an entire family job, isn't it?
Oh, it is. Absolutely. Yeah. We've been through some tough times, but it's worth it. So I appreciate it.
Where are you all stationed right now?
Jersey, and we actually are going to be moving in a couple months. We've been here for 3 years, so we'll be moving on to Virginia next.
right.
Did I read somewhere that like the need for travel and the need for portability is kind of what led you into some of your crafting that you love to do?
Yes, when we first got married, we got stationed in Italy, Naples, Italy. And so I, had never really been far from home or anything. So I knew it was going to be a big adjustment. And so my friend's mom, she ended up teaching us how to crochet because I'm left-handed, and so I don't know if you know how to crochet, but you go in a certain direction, so left-handed people will go the opposite direction. So it was, everything else was confusing to me. So she kind of taught us the basic stitches, and just so I could keep myself busy on the airplane. That was the age before smartphones and all that fun stuff. So, but yeah, and so then from there, I ended up using YouTube to learn more stitches and how to read a pattern and things like that. So that, is where I got my start into crafting. So.
Wow, that's just wonderful. Yeah. Now, you asked me if I crochet. I don't crochet, but I do knit. I learned to knit also for my travel on the airplanes. And my mother-in-law, she also lives in the United States, but she, I guess, knits continental style, where I'm an American style knitter. And she loves to teach me how inefficient I am at my knitting because she thinks that I never slow down, and she can't believe that I would learn the slow way to knit. And so she's always trying to correct my knitting. It's lovely.
I learned how to knit after crochet, and it really is like once you learn your kind of personal favorite of how to hold the yarn, it's hard to change. I wouldn't be able to switch it up. So I do the American version. I don't do the continental. So
Unfortunately, I tried on around project 3, which was right when I was starting to get the hang of it. And I was already like, oh no, I felt like I was already learning. And then I didn't want to go backwards to learn the left-handed or the continental style. And so now, were you also saying that it was really tricky to learn crochet at first because it was left-handed? Is that one of those crafts that is very dominant right-handed, or at least the education is dominant right-handed?
All the pictures, you kind of have to use your left-handed brain to be like, that's going to go the opposite way. So that was confusing at first. So I'm a visual learner. So to have her right in front of me and showing me was a lot easier. So once I learned the basic, chain stitch and things like that, I was able to go onto YouTube and kind of just figure it out from there. Well, now I feel like there's so many, videos and things on there. I'm sure there's tons of specific left-handed videos. So that's
sure.
But it's a great tool to learn because I used it when I learned to hand embroider. I learned from pretty much YouTube as well and certain blogs and things like that. But if there was a stitch that I wanted to learn, I would just go on YouTube and look it up and try it out. So I'm very much like a trial and error person. So a lot of my early projects, I look back at and I'm like, oh gosh, this is a mess. But, it shows where you've come from and, that you've grown. So they're good to
Yeah, it can be a little humbling, but it is great to have that library and that history.
Yeah, for sure.
When I hung my first quilt up in my mom's quilt shop, the original founder of the quilt shop came in and complimented me. She says, Rob, it's so great that you've taken up quilting in your mom's store. This is so terrific. And you're even hand quilting. And I said to her, no, Sylvia, this is all done by machine. And she says, oh, it's atrocious. So my machine stitching was so bad, she thought it was done by hand originally, but she was...
Goodness. You're like, well...
But we all got to start.
Yeah, we got to start somewhere, So that's and I think that's the key is to don't let, your beginning mistakes discourage you from, keeping on, keep trying new things and, because, you get better every time, from your mistakes you learn. That's what happened with me at least, so...
I'm going to ask you another question, but you can say pass for this one. Do you have one of those stories of a project that was almost the project that made you go back to accounting or something like that and give up crafting altogether? Sorry, accountants out there.
No, I know. When I first learned to sew, I got my machine and I literally sat down with it and I was like, I don't know what to do with this thing, So I tried to pick a simple project, which was capes for my kids. And I, got through that. Looking back at them now, I'm like, oh boy, this is, bad, but they loved it, and they didn't care. They didn't look close at the stitching. But after that, I tried to make a quilt, like a simple, just a patchwork square quilt. And I think I didn't really realize, like, you should starch the fabric before you cut it, and, things like that. And so the squares were kind of wonky, and they didn't really match up. And I definitely did not know what I was doing with the quilting. So there was a lot of, like, me going over the lines. I don't even know what I was doing, but we still have that quilt, and I look at it and I'm like, oh my gosh. But I made it for my son. I was pregnant with my youngest at the time, and I'm like, it's still special, it's just kind of a mess, but he was a baby. He didn't care. So
it'll probably be one of your most special quilts forever because it was the first quilt and it was for your son. There's more memory in that there's nothing quality could say when it comes to memory. And, and I think some of us can be a little bit too hard on ourselves anyways.
For sure. Like, we're all our own worst critics. That is for certain. Like, I can look at my project and, just pick out all the little spots that, like, didn't quite match up. But, I'll show it to my husband, and, he thinks it's perfection. But maybe that's just him, trying to keep things good in the house. Not.
Sounds like you've got a pretty supportive one there, Lindsay. Sounds like you've got a great guy.
Yeah, for sure.
That's fantastic. Okay, so how about then, if that was like the almost push you over the edge moment, how about a light bulb moment? Was there any, maybe a technique or a project or a day in your studio where all of a sudden you're like, oh, I get it and I love it and I'm never turning back?
Yes, I do have that. Is that for any craft or just for sewing?
No, anything, just a light bulb moment for you that was inspiring.
There was a time that once I learned to embroider, I had really loved the look of, I guess, needle painting or thread painting, they call it. And it's like very detailed embroidery. And I really, really wanted to learn because it just looks so beautiful. So I had gotten a book and, tried to I tried it out. And I think my first project was a violet. And I thought for sure I was going to mess it up, and it came out really pretty, and I really liked it. And so that for me was encouraging, and I'm like, you know what, I'm going to try something harder, which their next step up was a bird in the book. And I always love the look of birds. They're so beautiful, and they're just so many different colors you can, it's just beautiful. So I tried out the bird and I really loved it. And so I have a couple, those are kind of my in-between projects. Like, I could be working on a quilt or something like that. And if I just kind of need to sit down and really just, it's kind of relaxing, I guess. And so I'll sometimes pick up an embroidery project. So I have a few now that I've done that I really, really enjoy. But I was proud of myself for, it seemed very intimidating at first. And then I just figured, I could just try. If it doesn't come out, it doesn't come out. But I was really happy with the outcome. So I was happy that I, pushed myself to try it at least.
Wow. And so was this thread painting by hand in the hoop, or was this thread painting by machine, kind of like free motion quilting? Okay, by hand.
Yes, by hand. I have one right here, actually.
Oh, yes, please.
So let's see if I can get it. I have an orange tabby, and this one, I think it's a pattern by Jessica Long Embroidery, and I really wanted to try it. And so he sits right here next to my sewing machine because he's my buddy around the house. But I just was really happy with how it came out. It's so detailed and it's so many stitches. It takes me a while, but to me it's just a nice piece of art to have around to look at. So
right. Thank you for the share. I appreciate that. See, and now also is a great segue because I believe we're looking at most of the entire sewing space there, right behind you. We were talking about small starts and small spaces. Take it away. Give us a quick tour.
Yeah, I used to have a bigger desk for my sewing space, but my room is kind of small. But I have my sewing machine here, and I kind of decorate it with little stickers that I get from different quilt shops or, whatever. And I've got some little projects that people have made me along the way, kind of sprinkled around, just because I really enjoy, once I joined Instagram and met a lot of people that share, the same interest in sewing and quilting, it was fun to do little, swaps and things like that. So I have a lot of those around the sewing room as well, which, just keeps you inspired and, it's, wanting to be more creative and just making friends from all over the place, which is nice. So
isn't it amazing like how we can just kind of reach the whole world and yet feels like it's this tight little community all at the same time? It's
very true. Like there's a couple of people that I've become really close with through Instagram, and it's just crazy to think of how far away they really are, and I've never actually met them in person. But
that was the question I was going to ask.
Yeah, I definitely consider them like dear friends to me, and not just with sewing or things like that. Like I could go to them with anything, and they're very, very supportive and just great people. So I'm very happy that I joined the Instagram community, because I never thought I would do something like that. I don't normally like to share the things that I made. It was hard for me to branch out because I'm like, who would want to see that? Like, I don't want it to seem like I'm like, hey, I made something, look at this. But once I got into it and realized there's so many other people out there that are doing the same thing, it was nice. And like I said, I made lots of friends along the way and gotten lots of good experiences from it. So I'm happy about that.
Well, I certainly know we're awfully glad you did at Michael Miller Fabrics, because had you not, you probably wouldn't have felt brave enough to apply for an ambassadorship.
Yes, absolutely. Which is funny because I think it was the year before, I saw some people putting out there, like people that I follow on Instagram, saying that they were a Michael Miller brand ambassador. And I'm like, what is that?
How do you get that job?
And so I actually set a alarm or almost like a whatever on my phone to remind me a year from then to look on your blog to see like when it would be open.
Good for you. That's smart.
So, and it's funny because I think I was probably like the last one, because it looked like it must have come earlier than I thought. And so I just like realized, I'm like, oh gosh, I hope I didn't miss it. So I went in and I applied, and I'm like, kind of crossing my fingers to hope that, I would be chosen. So it was very exciting once I found out.
Can you tell me more about the day that you found out? Like, what was that experience like?
That was really exciting because on some level, especially being a stay-at-home mom, like it feels somewhat like validation, or this.
I was hoping you would use that word, because it absolutely is validation. You're a rock star and you deserve the credit. So, yeah. But I'm sorry, I interrupted you, but go ahead. Yeah.
It was definitely that. Just, I was really happy. I called my husband immediately, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I got chosen to be a brand ambassador, and he was excited for me because he's very supportive of the things that I do. And it just again, like I just felt so it feels intimidating, like you're putting yourself out there and you're like, oh, are my projects going to be good enough or whatever. But it just feels like a huge accomplishment. It really did. So I was happy that I was brave enough to put in an application for it. And so I was really happy when I got chosen.
We're really happy that you did get chosen and that you joined the team. Now, I'm terrible. You asked me what you should be prepared for today's interview, and I forgot to tell you, hey, if you've got any of your projects you've been working on, have them close. Can I put you on the spot? Do you have anything handy that you can show us?
I do, yeah. I'm actually working on a quilt with the bungalow fabric. Hold on, let me grab it.
Yeah, please do. That just started shipping out to the store, so we can now share it and show it and let everybody know that it's available. And so we're not too top secret yet.
Let's see if I can get a good.
Ooh, look at you go. Now, why are you making a giant quilt in that little sewing space?
I know, it's interesting to try to do. That's why I said I'm not so good at the quilting part, I feel like. Hold on.
Right?
I have, if I do my own machine quilting, I will go bring my sewing machine to the dining room table and try to set up to have more space. But I feel like I have a lot of work to do with my own machine quilting. So, and I would, if I had the patience, I would do hand quilting because I love the look of it. But I have a good friend that I send my quilts out to her, and she's so awesome, and they just look so beautiful when they're done on the long arm. So that's what I've been doing. Just because I prefer it. Someday maybe I'll have enough space to have my own long arm. That'd be like a dream come true. But at least again another Instagram friend that I've met along the way that it's nice to have. So.
Absolutely. Yeah, I love quilting the quilts myself, but man, it sure takes well, let me say this. I've been quilting for so many years. I'm spoiled or selfish. I like a comfortable space. I like my body to be, so I can just quilt for more hours. I did recently get a long arm as well, or a mid arm. It's the 18-inch machine from Juki. Sits on a frame though, and it's really cool. There's a learning curve to it, so I'm like a little bit more intimidated on that side. I'm more comfortable just to sit at a machine and move the quilt under the needle.
Yeah.
Boy, that long arm sure makes it easier on your body and your shoulders and your back, and the amount of hours you can work within and the setup time and a bunch of those kinds of things. So I'll tell you, right about usually December 21st, I'm really happy I have a long arm because you know what I mean? I'm finishing that quilt that I decided I was doing for Christmas. But for the most part, I still look at it sometimes and say, I probably should practice on that more. So we all have our things.
I know. I give a lot of credit to the people that can do like the free motion quilting, all of that. Like I just have such a hard time like having the quilt not shift a little or so I'm like more of a straight line or a wavy line quilter if I do it myself. Keep it pretty simple, but
Exactly. We all have our specialties, right? And that's what keeps this wonderful world of textiles going and everything. So
absolutely.
That's just exciting. So do you have anything else in the pipeline for Michael Miller that you can share yet? You might have to say that's top secret. I don't want to I can't be sworn to secrecy. I'm just not trustworthy.
That's my major project at the moment. Because with June coming up,
Yep.
we're again preparing for a move, so I might have to do a little break. So that's my big one that I'm working on. That I'm really I have a couple other projects kind of in the mix, so we'll see what gets finished in time, I suppose,
Fantastic. And of course, I'll have the links for all of Lindsay's Instagram and Facebook and all of the places you can follow her down at the bottom. So we've got all that for everybody. So please be out there and sharing and following what the brand ambassadors are doing. It's free, inspirational content. A lot of times they're going to write up a great pattern and put it on their blog for you or do a fun little video or something. It's fun for us as a company because we get to invite creative folks like you, Lindsay, to join us. But then really the rules are use our fabric, please. And if you could hit the deadline, that would be terrific. But, that's even kind of sometimes questionable. So it's fun. And so I think that's partly why Lindsay wanted to encourage all of you next year to watch for the blog, watch for the opportunity to be, an ambassador, because it's pretty cool and it is a big honor and it is very noteworthy and absolutely it's validating. It's pretty dang cool. But then you got to do these silly interviews with me and stuff, and every year we get a new idea. So now this is the thing we're doing. And now did I warn you, Lindsay, about the way we wrap these up though? With these we do a mystery question. So you think you did the lightning round and you did really pretty good, except for the one about the kids and the board sport. So maybe I can't say you did very good on the lightning round. I'm just being silly. Are you ready for the mystery questions? Yeah.
Okay, I'm ready. Hopefully it's nothing too tricky.
Okay.
Those of you, this is your first interview with us here at Making It Fun. A million years ago, we prepared a ton of mystery questions, and these ones have all been answered already, but we still have, or asked and answered multiple times. So we have this list, this section of them. It looks like I've got about here today, maybe, I'm going to say, why don't you pick a number between 1 and 8, Lindsay, because I think I've got at least that many here.
Okay, my lucky number is 3, so I'm going with 3.
Anything to do with the family size?
No.
Always lucky number 3. Okay. So
Yes.
1, 2, and 3. Here is your question. And the question is this. Are you ready? Okay. What would your autobiography be called?
Oh, let's see. My autobiography. I got to make it something interesting so people would want to read it. Usually my husband's better at these types of things.
It's a tough one. It is a tough one, folks.
It is a tough one to come up with on, just right on the spot. I guess it would have to probably do something like The Tale of the Creative Navy Wife or something like that. Maybe it needs some work. I don't know.
I'm going to offer you just a little hint for your autobiography. I'm going with Big Things from Small Spaces.
I like that. See? Yeah, maybe.
It's easier when it's not your question. So because it wasn't my question, I better take one here. Okay, I'm mixing them up a little bit so that 1 and 2 are back in the mix. So I think we still have 8. You may choose any number between 1 and 8.
And this is your question?
Fortunately.
I'm going to choose 7.
7. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Oh, good. I did have 8 left. Oh, here we go. Whew, this falls right into the mystery round. Questions of favorites. Favorite guilty pleasure television show? Now, I think a guilty pleasure is supposed to be something you're not supposed to like to do. So I don't really understand the question because everything I watch I really like to do. So I think
it's something that you don't want to admit
that I like watching.
Like if you liked Real Housewives, they'd be like, "Wow, really?"
Oh, that's a good one. Real Housewives is a good one. I haven't seen it. This is the one I will admit. And this is for all of you viewers out there that haven't watched some of our other brand ambassador interviews. That's all I'm saying. Rob's favorite guilty pleasure television show, Anne with an E. That's my answer. And so that's a clue for another one of the Making It Fun videos out there. Go find the clue. Let us know in the comments below where that clue came from, and we'll tell you if you're right. That's all you get here at Making It Fun today, anyways. And a fantastic interview with my dear friend Lindsay. So hey, Lindsay, before we wrap it up here, I just really want to say thank you very much for being here. Why don't you take a moment and just say something to our audience and encourage them, and how about something new to the brand new crafter or sewer out there? What's a word of encouragement you can sign us off with today?
I would say don't get discouraged and to definitely keep sewing. Just keep trying new projects and because again, you learn from trial and error and you're just going to keep getting better. I would encourage everybody to jump on Instagram and start checking out some of the sewers on there, the quilters. There's really some amazing creative inspiration, and it can help give you ideas. And honestly, a lot of these people are so sweet and so nice. You can reach out if you have questions. Like, it's a really great community, and just, keep going, keep creating. It's a good to have a creative outlet. So I look forward to everybody's projects. I love jumping on Instagram and seeing what everybody comes up with. So yeah.
They'll be following you out there. Big Things from Small Spaces. Lindsay Chieco, that's right, 2021 brand ambassador and fantastic crafter, sewer extraordinaire. Thank you everybody for being here at Making It Fun today, and not making fools out of ourselves, just having a good old time.
Yes.
Wow, you are still there. Thanks for sticking with me till the end of the video. I know, I get a little long-winded sometimes. But if you did enjoy today's video, make sure you check out a few of the other ones we've created. I think they're terrific. And of course, please subscribe to the channel. Make sure you hit the little bell to be notified. I don't want you to miss a moment of the fun. Stay safe and happy sewing.